Oh, hi, y'all. Welcome to Nikki's World, where my podcast show will give you viewpoints and insight that others will not give. I'll talk about like what's current, what's on the news, what is out there, and I will always cite sources and I always cite facts and news links so y'all know what I'm actually talking about. I give you my viewpoints and opinions, and if you want to hear what I have to say, what's on my mind and all that, I let y'all into my world and let y'all hear and listen to what I'm thinking and what's going through my mind. So if you love stuff like that, tune into Nikki's World twice a week, where you'll get 2-3 podcast episodes a week on what I talk about and what's on my mind. So thanks for listening, and let's get on with the show, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, y'all? Let's do this. Oh, hi guys. Welcome to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host, and today, guys, I want to talk to you about how Gen X won the election and how Gen X gave Donald Trump, and I'm going to give you my reasons why Gen X really gave Donald Trump the White House and why we told Gen Z to sit down. But before we go any further, guys, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, seriously, can y'all please consider donating a cup of coffee for me? Because for a price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and Cumberland Farms, guys, you guys help keep this podcast show alive. You guys help me curate more stories, more topics like this to talk about. I do accept Bitcoin donations. I am on Locals, guys. If you guys want to support and sponsor Nikki's World, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, please hit that like, subscribe, please give me a review. Good, bad, and the ugly. Also, guys, I do have a bunch of affiliate links. First off is Minds.com. Minds.com is the free speech alternative to Facebook. If you guys value freedom of speech and your right to say whatever you want without fear of censorship, you guys can sign up for Minds.com in the link in the description below. Also, guys, I do have a referral link to Burner.com. If you guys value your right to self-defense and your Second Amendment rights, but you want to defend yourself in a less lethal manner, you guys can buy a burner pistol in the link in the description below. And full disclosure, guys, I do own a burner LE pistol myself. And also, guys, if you know anybody that wears adult diapers like I do, guys, you guys can buy adult diapers through North Shore Medical Supply. Links in the description below. And before we get this show on the road, literally, guys, and I mean literally, if you guys love this episode and any of my other episodes on Nikki's World, Seriously, y'all, seriously. Can y'all please consider sharing this across all the social media platforms that are out there today? Wow, yeah, that is a mouthful. That is a mouthful. And yes, by the way, guys, I am diapered up as always. I am in my North Shore Mega Max diapers with my new brand new onesies from Little Comforts. They're great onesies, guys, so I love them very much. So they are great as well. So anyway, let's get on with the show, shall we, guys? Shall we? So, I want to talk about this topic, and a lot of people have asked me this. Why did Gen X vote in record numbers? Why did the generation that lived before Google, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you know what I mean? That lived before PlayStations, okay? That voted for Donald Trump in large numbers. Here's the reason for this, guys. I'm a Gen Xer myself. I was born in 1976 as a baby, but I lived through the millennial generation. Why did we? Here's a simple reason, guys. We got sick and tired of being told that you have to use their preferred pronoun. You have to suspend your reality to pander to the 1% of the population who thinks that men can get pregnant, that men can become women, that people can become furry animals and all that bullshit. We got sick and tired of it. So we gave the big double barrel middle finger and the fuck you to the Gen Zers who wanted to push their pronoun bullshit. They wanted to push that. Oh, men can be women. Men can go into women's bathrooms, locker rooms, compete in women's sports. People can identify as whatever they want. Bullshit. And then we told the generation to fuck off. We're the generation that said, no, we want the way things were. Basically pre 9/11, okay? But then we told the generation that wanted you to bend the knee to them, that wanted you to play along with their pronoun bullshit. We told them to fuck off. It's that simple. That's why we voted in huge numbers. That's why Kamala Harris couldn't win over Gen Xers, because Gen Xers are the people that are going to say to Gen Zers, fuck you, fuck off. We're not playing with your bullshit, and we're going back to where the things were. That men are men, women are women, men can never be women, no matter how hard they fucking try. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, this election, Donald Trump was able to win over Gen Xers. Because you got to remember, Gen Xers like me, we knew what Donald Trump was like in the 1980s and 1990s, ladies and gentlemen. So we knew off the bat what he was like. So we had no problem with Donald Trump being Donald Trump, okay? Because we grew up in that era. We saw his empire grew in the 19 like 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. We saw his empire grew. So I'm telling you this right now to the Gen Zers who are having a hissy fit, a temper tantrum over the fact that Donald Trump is going to be president again in 2025 on January 20th. Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down. Take a time out. Go in the fucking corner. Because we're the generation that gave Donald Trump the White House back. Because we don't care about his mean tweets. We grew up in a generation that words mean nothing to us. We grew up in a generation that said like this: actions speak louder than words. This generation is like words speak louder than your actions, because people in this generation can't do what they say. But my generation growing up, what you do says more than what you say. So this is why Gen Zers are all shocked that Gen Xers voted in record numbers the same way like the baby boom generation did. So this is why Gen Zers are like scared shit of Gen Xers. Because Gen Xers like me, we grew up before Google. We grew up before all this stuff. We created the culture that it is today. It's like, for example, we had like what? Queen, we had what? David Bowie, Prince, Boy George. Boy George and Prince, they were what? Gender bending? They were breaking the gender norms and stereotypes, but they didn't demand society pander to them. Like Boy George, for example, he didn't demand society call him by this and this and this, or demanded to be allowed in women's bathrooms for all that shit. He knew he was a guy, but he just wanted to dress the way he wanted to present himself on stage for his audience. And people were okay with that. Yeah, that's the generation I grew up on. I grew up on a generation where men are men, women are women. We didn't care who you slept with, who you were in bed with. We didn't care. We had a saying: "What you do at home is what you do at home." Yeah, but this is the generation who thinks that what you do at home is everybody's damn business. But I'm telling you, man, Gen Xers like me, we grew up so hardened that Gen Zers would have a fucking freaking nuclear meltdown, temper tantrum, and cry like the soy bitch that they are. And that's a fact, man. Because I tell you this, my generation growing up, we didn't have like the social media, the internet, podcasting like we have today, ladies and gentlemen. Growing up in the 80s, for example, guys, if you wanted to get the news, you'd have to watch the 6 o'clock news, the 5 o'clock and the 6 o'clock newscast, or you had to go to the local public library and read up on the newspaper. You really did, guys. You really did. Our video games were like what? We had to either go to the arcade, and if we had the money, we would buy what, an Atari 2600 video game system. Yeah, that was it, man. And then the 90s, that's when like the internet and social media started to kick off. Early 90s was like what? Everybody had an email address. You know what I mean? And then it started like with social media, like MySpace, and then Facebook, which started off as college only, then became what? Everyone? Dude, let me tell you this, man. My generation is why Donald Trump got reelected. My generation told Gen Zers to sit your ass down, shut the fuck up. We're going back to the good old days where we didn't care about mean tweets and what he said offended you. We don't care about that. All we care about is cheap gas, cheap grocery prices, being able to afford things, being able to have economic freedom in this country. That's all we cared about. But the fact that Gen Zers are all stuck on like sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, pronouns, people identifying with God knows what. Yeah, that's that's why they lost the election. Because you had Kamala Harris pandering to the men who claim to be women, the men who think they can breastfeed, the men who think they can get pregnant. You know what I mean? And then you had like people who Kamala Harris pandered to, guys like ripping babies from their mom just because they want to have a family. You know what I mean? Which I think is wrong in my book. That's why we went back to the days. That's why we went back to like the pre 9/11 days, to the 80s and 90s. I often say like this, guys. If I were to drop a Gen Zer back in the 1980s and 90s, they would have a fucking mental breakdown like no tomorrow. They would be fucking freaking out. They'd be like this. Oh, where's my Uber? Where's my this? Where's my this? My generation, we didn't have all that. We didn't have all that shit. My generation, like, we got through all this shit. We built things that Gen Zers are riding off of. Like, say for example, we started MTV, we started VH1, we started BET. We gave rise to the Simpsons, which ultimately gave rise to the Family Guy. We started all those shit. A lot of people don't fucking realize this. The Simpsons was started in 1989 in December, on when it was started as an episode, like a clip from like the Tracy Ullman show. That was when I grew up on. The fact of the matter is, guys, my generation literally, literally, guys, gave Donald Trump the White House. And then you got a lot of bunch of Gen Zers having a hissy fit, temper tantrum, going, oh, why aren't you with us? Why aren't you this and this and this? We're going to excommunicate you. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Excommunicate us. I know there are women who are having this, what, supposedly 4B strike, and supposedly saying they're going to swear off sex, swear off marriage, swear off this. Go ahead, go ahead, go live with your 10 cats for all I care. My generation, I want to go back to the way things were, where people could afford stuff, where people could be able to buy gas at a cheap price, where people can go to the store and not have to take out a second mortgage to pay for shit. Okay, where our money is worth more. All right, and at the same time, I want to live in an era where men are men, women are women, where we didn't care who you are, what you are, as long as you didn't intrude on everyone else. It's that simple. That's why my generation, we were okay with gay marriage. We were okay with gays and lesbians having being married. We were okay. But as long as the policy of don't intrude on us, don't push your shit on us is the mantra. Don't. But we were okay with that. We were. We literally were. But then you had Gen Zers who were all like, well, you gotta put pronouns in your signature. You gotta like call us by whatever they wake up or whatever they're thinking next. Bullshit. That's why they lost the election. Because they kept pushing the pronoun bullshit, kept pushing that, oh, men or women, that taxpayers should pay for sex change surgeries, even for prison inmates or convicted felons. Hell, fuck, no. You want that? You pay for it yourself, or you fund it yourself. That's why we won. That's why we gave Donald Trump the White House, because we got sick and tired of being told, condescended. You know what I mean? We got sick and tired of being harassed, bullied, stalked, doxxed, intimidated. We got sick and tired of that. So now we told them to shut up by voting for Donald Trump. And now the left's having a hissy fit and a temper tantrum. I go like this. Screw you. Serves you right. Serves you right, ladies and gentlemen. That's why it's like this. The generation that thinks that men are women, that women are men, that thinks that men should be allowed to compete in women's sports, That's why we gave them the biggest fuck around and find out and the biggest double barrel metal finger of our life. We really did. And now they're having a hissy fit. Now they're having a temper tantrum. You know what I mean? That like society is not pandering to them. Of course we're not. We never will. We would never pander to you people. We would never ever pander to you people ever again. We'll never. That's why my generation said like this. Screw you, fuck you. We're not going down that road of socialism, communism. We're not going down that road where you want to force men in women's spaces. Fuck you. We're not going down that road where people have to pay this amount and this amount for very little shit. Fuck you. Yeah. We gave We gave Gen Z the biggest double barrel middle finger ever. And now you see Gen Zers fleeing Twitter slash X, the blue sky, to their own echo chamber saying, oh, Trump's a meanie, Trump's this and this and this. And then you got blue states like New York and California, okay, trying to hatch a scheme to try to block like whatever Trump or the federal government does. But I go like this. You just proved our point, Democrats, that the 10th Amendment matters very much. Because the fact that the 10th Amendment says like this, anything that the federal government does not have that is not legally required under the Constitution goes back to the people, aka the states. You just proved our point that states' rights matter. And Gavin Newsom is probably realizing that, oh shit, people are right. States' rights do matter. So anything not constitutionally obligated, that means it goes back to the states, aka to the people. Okay, simple as that. But to me, guys, to me, Gen Xers like me gave Gen Zers the biggest double barrel middle finger and told them to fuck you, fuck off. We ain't going down that horse shit, and we're going back to the way things were in this country. We literally are. And I tell people this because you know why? Gen Xers like me are proud that we voted in large numbers for Donald Trump. And we're a voting bloc to be reckoned with. We're a voting bloc that you don't fuck around with us because we will fuck you up so badly that you might as well just crawl back to your mommy's basement for all I care. The fact that my generation gave Donald Trump the White House, I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of that. Because you know why? I don't care about his mean tweets. I don't care if you think he's a dictator, like in or a cunt, or like he's gonna do this and this and this to you. I don't give a horse shit ass. All I care about is if I'm gonna get more money coming home from work. Okay, that's all I care about. And if I'm going to be able to afford to do things I want to do, pay gas at a cheaper cost, pay groceries at the cheaper cost, that's all I care about. But you got Gen Zers, all they care about is their precious pronouns, their precious safe spaces, or their like godly men who claim or who cosplay as women. I don't care about that shit. All I care about is being able to afford cheap gas, being able to afford food at lower prices, being able to take more money home, and being able to know that my tax dollars ain't gonna get spent on bullshit That's all I care about. That's all I care about as a Gen Xer. One thing I do want to say is like this. My generation growing up, we grew up on MTV. We grew up on Club MTV. We grew up knowing what men are men, women are women. We grew up on In Living Color, Beverly Hills 90210, 21 Jump Street. You know what I mean? We grew up on the A Team. We grew up on Miami Vice. We grew up on Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah, but the Gen Zers are like, they showed the Confederate flag against racist. Sometimes I like to go up to these Gen Zers and bitch slap them so far up across side of their head that by the time I'm done, they're gonna realize that they need to learn to sit down, grow up first. Yeah, that's the generation, man. My generation growing up, we didn't care if you were gay or lesbian or bisexual. We didn't give a shit. We didn't care if you gender bend like David Bowie or Queen or Prince. As long as you performed, as long as you were raking in money, that's all we cared about. Yeah, that's all we cared about. We didn't care what you did in your bedroom or in your house. We didn't care about that. But then again, the Gen Zers, they want to make it everybody's issues. They want to foister that. They want to be able to foister that, oh, men are men, women are women. You know what I mean? Or they wanna like foister the men are women, women are men mentality. That's why they lost the election. That's why they were never able to recover. That's why they were never able to win because they couldn't convince the Gen Xers who are what about right now what in their like 40s and 50s. They couldn't convince us. So we said to them, "Fuck you, shut the fuck up, sit your ass down, what you did is wrong. You screwed up this country, and we're taking the country back, and we're giving it to Donald Trump and fixing the country back to where it was. It's that simple." And Gen Zers right now, they're like having a hissy fit. They're like having a temper tantrum, going, "Oh, why did Gen Xers and the millennial generation didn't go for us or didn't support us, didn't go for this?" Because we see through the bullshit. We see through their bullshit. We see through all the crap and the bullshit that they wanted to foister and pander on everyone else, including indoctrinating the kids in the LGBTQ plus pedo lifestyle. We saw through that shit. And when we saw through that, we said, no, we're not going through that. You're not gonna push that. You wanna do that? Take it off school grounds. Take it off school grounds. Take it into your own safe space and all this shit. Yeah, that's why Gen Xers like us. Some of them have kids of their own. They don't want their kids being indoctrinated in that bullshit. They want if they wanted to, the parents could sign a consent form saying they allow it. It's that simple. Yeah. But that's why it's like this, man. We gave Trump the White House. We're we want our country back to pre 9/11 days when life was good, everything was simple, nobody had their panties in a bunch, or in my case, diapers in a bunch. Nobody got offended over people's like race, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, nationality. We all made fun of each other, but at the end of the day, we were like, yeah, We got a good laugh. It was good. We were that kind of generation. Something I want to say like this: a lot of a lot of a lot of Gen Zers want to grow up so quick. They want to grow up. They want the world. They want the world by their balls. But then you got to realize it's like this. My generation, we worked our ass off of it. We worked our ass to get to where we are, to get to where we want to be. We grew up like doing all the hard work. My generation, the Gen X, hell, when the street lights were on, it was time to be in your house or be in your yard. It was that simple. Yeah, my generation. You know, want to know what was life before Google? Was an index card at the local library. Yeah, it was an index card. Yeah, catching up on world news when you live locally. That was the what? The New York Times, the Washington Post, or the Boston Herald. That was that. Yeah, that was my generation, guys. That was my generation going. My generation, we knew what men were like. We knew what women were like. Yeah, my generation growing up, men were men, women were women. And if you were like lesbian, gay, bi, like that, we were like, yeah, whatever. They're fringe. But as long as they're not imposing their bullshit on the 99% of the population, we were like, okay, they're fine. As long as they're not doing, as long as they're not imposing their bullshit, we're perfectly fine like that. That's where ultimately we wound up letting them have their right to marry like everyone else. Yeah. But then the left and Gen Z, who's all in bed with the transgender cult, the groomer cult, and the pedophile cult, who think that it's okay for boys to become girls or to become boys, and this is the generation who thinks that it's okay to indoctrinate your kid as young as preschool. No, 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 we're not okay with that. We're not. That's why Trump won. That's why Trump won the election, is because Gen Xers are not okay with men competing in women's sports and stealing all the hard earned awards from women. Yeah, we're the generation that said, fuck you. Hell no. We don't want that. It's that simple, guys. It is. And as a Gen Xer, I preach this philosophy of actions speak louder than words. Apparently, this generation thinks words speak louder than action. Apparently, they never got the memo that that's not how the fucking world works, dude. That's not that's not how the world works, homeboy. The world works like this. What you do is more important than what you say. You can say all the horse shit you want in this world, but I'm just gonna sit back here like this, laugh at your ass because you're not showing what you say you're gonna do. So I tell people, stop saying it and do it. You know? Yeah. The left thinks that like words mean more than action, but words don't write checks, don't pay the bills, don't put food on the table. Yeah. But my generation, action writes checks. Action puts food on the table. Action puts roof over my head. Not words. Not words. The left think words mean everything. They apparently didn't get the memo, guys. They apparently didn't. And it seems to me this generation doesn't understand why they lost. And I'm telling you right now, they never will. They never will. They're always going to keep losing. The Gen Zs who constantly keep voting Democrat are going to keep voting for a losing proposition and losing, you know what I mean, losing battle. They're going to keep voting for this because then they're going to fucking realize eventually that siding with men who claim to be women, women who claim to be men, is not a winning strategy here. And then siding with a generation who thinks that you should like bully, intimidate, harass, and dox people just because you don't agree with them. That's not a winning strategy here, folks. And and to me, that's a losing proposition. If the generation who thinks that oh you're racist, bigot, homophobe, istrophobe just because we don't agree with you, you think if that's a winning strategy, y'all need to have a date with Dr. Phil. Okay, y'all need to have a date with a psychiatrist because that's not how the world works. Okay, that's not how the world works. And that's frankly why we got sick and tired of it. And that's frankly why we gave Donald Trump the White House. We literally did, guys. And that's why we gave him that. Because we said like this: screw you, fuck you, hell no. And what you're doing is why we want our country back. We want to go back to the good old days. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, Gen Xers gave Donald Trump the White House. If you're a Gen Xer, guys, hit that like, follow, subscribe on my podcast channel. Hit a comment saying you're a proud Gen Xer because I'm telling you guys, stand tall, stand proud that you took this country back. That you took this country back from the brink of socialism, communism. You know what I mean? Stand tall, ladies and gentlemen. Literally, stand tall. Because stand tall, stand proud that you voted in record numbers. You voted in huge numbers that made it practically impossible for the left to cheat. Stand tall because you know why? Us Gen Xers said, fuck you, hell no, we had enough. We ain't going to this bullshit. And we're gonna make America great again. And we're gonna bring this country back to where it once was. So stand tall, stand proud. As a Gen Xer, I thank y'all for voting for Donald Trump, voting for sanity, voting for common sense. Because quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, common sense, logic, reasoning, and critical thinking are the four skills that Gen Zers never have and never will. But it's something that my generation and the millennial generation have. Thank God for that. But, the Gen Zers, they don't have that. And I feel sorry for these people. I literally do, guys. I literally do. And that's why I go like this. I'm glad us Gen Xers voted in record numbers and why us Gen Xers gave Donald Trump the White House, which is great, amazing, and awesome. And I am very proud of that, guys. I am very, very proud of that. But anyway, I want to talk about this article on Spike.com. This was written by Megan Murphy, a feminist who hails from Canada in America. She writes this article, there can be no compromise on the trans debate. And her first line is like this: gender ideologies are now desperate to present themselves as reasonable and moderate. Don't be fooled. Yep, they are. They are. And I agree with this article from Megan Murphy. Democrats right now, after they got their asses kicked in the general election, that now Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans have control of the government, from the executive branch, from the House of Representatives to the Senate. Democrats are right now having to do soul searching, having to basically say, "Oh, why did these people voted for this guy, and now he's running the country, and Republicans have full power of the House and Senate." Well, it's because you kept foistering on your stupid gender ideology, pushing the claim that men are women, women are men bullshit. And now you lost the election last month on November 5th, and now Democrats are like trying to face reality that doxing, bullying, threatening, intimidating people into bending the knee of the gender ideology cult is not a winning strategy, and is not going to win them any favors, is not going to win them at the polls. They're having to do soul searching. So now they're trying to rebrand themselves as moderates, progressives. And I tell people like this: don't be fooled by these people. These people are trying to fool you into thinking that, oh, what we did was in the past. You could forgive us for that. Fuck no. Fuck no. Fuck you. And screw the fuck off. I'm never going to forget. I'm never going to forgive these people. The fact that, as an intersex DSD person who happens to have Kalman syndrome, these gender cult members, these trans cult members, harassed, bullied, doxed, threatened, and intimidate me for speaking up against these people, for saying that they're not intersex. They're fake intersex people pretending to be intersex when in reality they're trans cult members. I'm not going to forgive that. I'm not going to forgive that. They want me to forgive. They want me to forgive them for speaking up. Fuck no. And I have to agree with Megan Murphy on this. And I'll read you the first paragraph. As the Democrats are now forced to contend with the reality of Trump's landslide win, progressives are scrambling to catch up to a world that no longer wants to play along with identity politics. Longtime leftists who made bank hurling invectives at anyone who dared question the woke orthodoxy are now trying to gracefully fling themselves into the backstroke to catch the changing tide. And second paragraph is very interesting. Hyperbolic media commentators like the Young Turks, like Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian, both did rather sudden about face. They begun to criticize Democrats as intolerant elitists, desperate themselves, having to spend years vilifying anyone who failed to toe the line on trans activism as terrible bigots. Suddenly, questions asked by the targets of people like Uyghur and Caspian are being repeated by those panic progressives who now present themselves as moderates. And this one paragraph, guys, in this article, I want to cite to this and I want to talk about this very clearly. Democrats and trans activists Brianna Rue, who many will recall as the woman who sparked the gamer, or which is the dude, I'm gonna say, or air quotes, woman, who sparked the Gamergate movement by claiming to have been harassed for being female in the video gaming world, only recently began to openly identify as trans. He now positions himself as reasonable trans activist, willing to compromise when it comes to trans rights. Well, we're not going to compromise. After what you've done to people like me, Brianna Wu, the Democrats, leftists, trans cult, and the gender cult, we're not going to compromise with you people. It's that simple. We're not going to compromise. The fact that you wanted to call us bigots, homophobes, transphobes, istophobe for not playing along with your identity politics bullshit, and then you threatened us, doxed us, got us kicked off of every social media platform out there. We're not gonna play along with your bullshit. We see the game that you're playing. That now that Trump won the election in a landslide, we see that you're trying to repackage yourself as a moderate. We see the bullshit. We ain't gonna forget. We're just gonna keep hammering it until you're wiped off the planet, wiped out of existence. For the bullshit that y'all did, for the bullshit y'all did to us, we're never gonna forget. It's like the internet. The internet never forgets. And we can search back every little thing that you did to people, including Megan Murphy and me, for standing up to the gender cult and identity politics cult. We're gonna use that against you, saying, "Oh, isn't that what you did to these people because they wouldn't bend the knee? They stood up, saying that they don't want biological males in women's sports, and you got them harassed. You got people to harass them, dox them, bully them, threaten them, intimidate them, and even threaten to go after them with physical harm. I'm sorry, we're not gonna forgive that shit. We're not. We're not gonna forgive that. But the fact that they wanna paint themselves as moderates after Donald Trump smacked the fucking living daylights out of these people, fuck you. Fuck you. Hell yeah. Fuck you. And I agree with Megan Murphy in this article. And by the way, guys, this article is going to be linked in the description below for y'all to read. I say like this, fuck you. Yeah, I say it, fuck you, because you know why? We're not gonna like this. We're not gonna gloss over what you did to us by doxing us, by threatening us, bullying us, intimidating us, deplatforming us, all because we wouldn't pander to your gender bullshit, to your gender crap. Yeah, fuck you guys. Fuck you and fuck you and horse you rode on. Yeah. The fact that the left right now, the trans cult, is having to do soul searching after they got their asses kicked in the general election. They're now trying to rebrand themselves as moderates and trying to be more reasonable. No, you're not. You're not trying to be moderates and reasonable. You're just trying to suck up and suck up to and try to kiss our asses for the fact that we voted for Donald Trump. We voted for common sense and decency. But you know what? Nobody's buying it. Nobody is buying it. You know what I mean? And then the fact that you got people on the trans call who constantly like to say kill all turfs and all this shit. Why do you think they voted for Donald Trump? Because you threatened to kill him. Why do you think they voted for Trump? Yeah, I'll read this paragraph for y'all. In an article in the New York Times this week, described the threats, censorship, and persecution experienced by the dissidents as unsparing criticism. I guess if that's where you want to call having to hire private bodyguards in order to speak about women's rights in public, or having to outrun mass gangs of trans activists desiring to kill all turfs, or having been banned from social media for 4 years for calling a man a he, that's your prerogative, but that's a lie. Yeah, it is. Because you know why? They want to play, oh, we're sorry for doing this. We apologize. No, no. We're not accepting your apology. We're not accepting you as a moderate. We're not. We're not. We're not. And then you gotta love this paragraph. Now, the very same activists who pushed all this on us are apparently rethinking, recalibrating their confrontational ways and are pushing back against the more all or nothing voices in their coalition. Yeah, I call bullshit. They're just trying. Here's the reality of this, guys. Here's the reality of this. And this is what I'm getting from this article is that the trans cult, the left, and the Democrats are trying to paint themselves as moderates after they got their asses kicked in the general election. They got their fucking asses kicked to the curb, and they got a basically a Royal Rumble beating because they wanted to push that, oh, we should give sex change surgeries to prison inmates, to illegal immigrants, and they wanted to push that men are women, women are men, that men should be allowed to compete in women's sports, women's bathrooms, locker rooms, prisons, and all this bullshit. They got their ass kicked. But now they want to paint themselves as moderates and say, oh, we didn't mean that. We didn't mean all that stuff. We didn't mean to say all this. I say bullshit, guys. I say bullshit. Okay? I say bullshit. Because I'm going to tell you this. The trans cult that has always been in bed with the Democrats, their reign of terror is over. On November 5th is when the trans cult died. And they died at the polls. They died because of the fact that they couldn't win the election. All their cheating has been brought to light. All their agenda has been exposed for everyone to see. And now they want to paint themselves as moderates in front of me, and they want to say, oh, can you forgive us for what we did to you? As an intersex DSD person who got kicked out of Twitter/X in 2018 for defending myself against the violent male trans cult and the male fetish cult and the fake intersex cult. Fuck you. Fuck you. And fuck you on the horse you rode on. I'm not going to forgive these people. I'm not going to forgive the people who got me kicked out of Twitter in 2018 for defending myself, for standing up to the trans cult, to the fake intersex people, and to the people who pretend to be intersex, but in reality are trans cult members. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you and fuck you on the horse you rode on. Because I'm not gonna forgive you. I'm not gonna say, oh, let's make amends. No, no, I'm not. I'm not. For the trans cult that in 2018 got Twitter to kick me out because I spoke up against the fake intersex people, and for the transgender cult who loves to lie, but pretend and fake being intersex in front of people, and then me exposing them, and then me getting kicked out of Twitter. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm not gonna forgive these people. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. These people, after they got their asses kicked in the election, they want to present themselves as moderates. Don't be fooled, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be fooled by these people. These people are only playing games just so they can convince you that they're not what they say they are. Don't be fooled, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be fooled by these people. Don't be. Don't be, guys. Because I'm telling you right now, these people are playing semantics and playing games. And I always say like this: once you see this, you can never ever unsee it ever again. Democrats, leftists, and liberals, and trans cult and identity politics cult, they're all trying to rebrand themselves as moderates after they got their asses kicked in the general election last month. They're trying to rebrand themselves. So I'm telling you all right now, read this article very well because I'm going to tell you this. There is no compromise with the people who wanted to push identity politics on your ass. There is no compromise whatsoever. And I like Megan Murphy's final paragraph. Here's my compromise. If we all agree that men aren't women ever, then at last we can move on. Simple as that. If we can agree that men will never be women, then we'll consider moving on. But until then, no compromise. I would not compromise with these people. I would never compromise with these people. I would never ever, okay? Really, I would never ever compromise with these people. These people do not deserve any sympathy, any coddling, any compromise. After what they did to everyone by threatening, intimidating, bullying, doxing, deplatforming people because they wouldn't agree to them. Oh, fuck you. Fuck no. No compromise. No surrender to these people. These people should be made to be ridiculed, scorned, and laughed at out of society. They should be literally run out of the country, in my opinion. They really should. They really, really should. But anyway, I want to talk about this from Gateway Pundit yesterday. You heard Joe Biden pardon his son, Hunter Biden. Yeah, big shocker there. You thought Joe Biden said like this that oh he's not going to pardon his son. Well, guess what? He gave America the biggest double barrel middle finger while getting out of office as fast as he can. Okay, because he's a lame duck. So he wanted to give the country the middle finger while on the way out the door. And you know what? Who probably pushed it? The fake Dr. Jill Biden. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Democrats and leftists, you just opened up a Pandora's box that you're never ever going to put back. You say no one's above the law, but Here's the thing: by you by you allowing Joe Biden to pardon Hunter Biden, you're giving Trump the ammunition to pardon all the January 6th political prisoners that you've either locked up or they probably committed suicide over. You you gave Donald Trump all the ammunition he needs to pardon J6ers. You want to play with fire? You just open the Pandora's box and open the door that you're never going to be able to close ever again. Warning you, Democrats. Warning you. You allowed that? You allowed that? Now we're going to do the same. And I guarantee you, y'all can flag this on December 3rd, 2024 at 15:29. I will bet you that Donald Trump will blanket pardon all the January 6th political prisoners and then make every Democrat pay their restitution for the rest of their life. Guarantee that. Guarantee that. Mark my words. Mark my words. And if I'm correct, y'all could come back on this podcast show and then I can say, I told you so, guys. I told you so. I told you so. It is that simple. The fact that you guys think that, oh, no one's above the law. What did Joe Biden did for Hunter Biden? Shall we use this as Exhibit A? Because if you think that's okay for Joe to do, well, guess what? When Trump's in office after January 20, and if he does that for January 6th, political prisoners, that's okay as well. So you know what, Democrats? Go ahead, have your cake. Because we're going to eat it too. We're going to eat it too. We're going to do the same thing. We're gonna do the very same thing that you said that it ain't gonna happen and will never happen. Go ahead. Go ahead, Democrats. Go right ahead. Because I'm telling you right now, you getting Joe Biden to pardon Hunter Biden, guess what? You open Pandora's box. You open the door. You let the genie out of the bottle. Guess what? We're gonna do the same thing for the January 6th political prisoners that you got locked up. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna give them all blanket pardons. It's that simple. It's that simple. And then at the same time, we're gonna make all y'all Democrats pay their restitution. How do you like them apples now? How do you like them? How do you like them apples? Tell me, how do you like them? How do you like them? Because that's what we're gonna do. And if you don't like it, tough fucking shit, dude. Tough fucking shit. And that's what we're gonna do. And if you don't like it, too damn fucking bad. It's that simple. Too damn bad. Too damn bad. Anyway, guys, before we go, I want to talk about this. This came up on my social media feed. There is talk about pushing AOC to run for president in 2028. I'm going to say like this, ladies and gentlemen, to the Democrat Party, go for it. Go for it, ladies and gentlemen. Go for it. Do it. Do it. Because we're going to put JD Vance or Trump Jr. to run for president, and we're going to wipe the. And if you think wiping Kamala Harris off the floor was a cakewalk, AOC would get slaughtered at the primaries, especially the Iowa caucus, especially at the New Hampshire primary. She would get slaughtered royally at those two primaries. She would. So Democrats, do it. Because that's going to show that you want to lose every election, whether at the local, county, state, or federal election. That just shows that you want to lose royally, and then you want Republicans and conservatives to win every seat in the country. Do it. Do it, Democrats. I double dog dare you to do it. Because I'll tell you what, JD Vance, JD Vance and Trump Jr., if they ever get him to run, would wipe AOC off the floor in seconds. But go ahead, do it, do it. I double dog dare you because that's gonna be an easiest way to win re-election in one fell swoop. It is, guys. That is going to be the easiest win ever. It really is, guys. It really is. Okay. So anyway, guys, it's been a good long show, and I enjoyed talking to y'all, and I enjoyed podcasting to y'all. Okay. I thank you guys for listening to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host. I gotta go do a diaper check just to make sure I'm not leaking and pooping. So I will see y'all soon. Bye for now. You just listened to an episode of Nikki's World. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all soon. Bye for now.